Starting in an easy seated position, let's just bring the hands to the belly, roll the shoulders back, and begin to concentrate on the breath. So if it feels comfortable, feel free to close the eyes here. Take a few deep breaths, open the mouth, and just let the exhale release. And let it go. Last one, big breath. And exhale, let it release. And start to bring some more awareness to controlling the breath. So as you inhale, draw that breath deep down in towards the base of the belly. Feel the belly expand, feel the side waist and the ribs open up, feel the chest lift a little. And then as you exhale, just let everything draw back towards the spine. Few moments here just to connect with the breath. See if you can allow every next inhale to be a little deeper and every exhale to be a little longer. You can start to find some rhythm to your breath as well. So we're really going to focus on connecting that breath with each movement, particularly as we flow through the sequences. And then when you feel you have that rhythm to your breath, take the hands out to the sides. Bring fingertips to touch the floor. As you inhale, let's lift the arms up. Nice deep breath. Bring the palms to touch. Exhale, hands through to the heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Feel the side waist expand and lift, and exhale, hands through the heart center. Last one, inhale, lift. Exhale, hands through to the heart center. Let's pause here. I'm going to interlace the fingers, press the palms forward and round through the top of the back. Inhale, up. Exhale, release, opening through the shoulders. Hands back to the heart center. Interlace the fingers, press the palms out. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, release. Last one, interlace the fingers, press the palms forward, round through the top of the back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, release. Keep the hands sweeping behind you. Interlace the fingers behind you now. Draw the shoulder blades back and down, squeeze them together. Maybe lift the chin a little, and maybe drop the chin down towards the chest. Breathe into that space you're creating through the front of the body. And then gently release. Bring left fingertips to the floor. Let's inhale, extend your right arm, and then take it up over the head. Get that full extension through the side waist. Inhale, let's reach the arms through the center, swapping, lifting through the left, and exhale over. Let's now start to work a little with the breath. Inhale through the center. Exhale over. Inhale through the center. Exhale over. One more on each side. And last one. Taking your time, big deep breath. And then gently coming back through the center. Let's rock over the legs now and turn to face onto our side, coming into all fours. So bring the wrists directly underneath the shoulders, the legs are hip width apart. Toes can be tucked under if that feels more stable, otherwise feet can be flat. Turn the creases in the elbows towards each other. Find a nice neutral spine and the gaze just to the top of your mat. We're going to start by keeping the spine exactly where it is and just working with the breath, the pelvic floor and the belly. So as you inhale, let the belly drop towards the floor. As you exhale, start to gently lift the belly in towards the spine. Inhale, relax. Let that belly just drop. Exhale, draw it in gently. The next inhale, breathe into the belly, softening. This time lift your pelvic floor, so drawing it in and up, and then hug your belly in towards the spine quite forcefully now, so really move with that exhale. Inhale, gradually relax the pelvic floor, relax the belly, and then draw your pelvic floor in. Exhale, draw the belly in. Inhale, slowly relax. Last one, pelvic floor lifts, hug the belly in, and then inhale, relax. Feel free to stay with this variation, otherwise we're going to work a little with the spine. So as you inhale, soften the belly, take the gaze a little bit further forward and the shoulders drawing down, but keep the spine long. As you exhale, round through the spine, tuck the chin in and lengthen the tailbone. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, coming back to neutral. Exhale, release, round through the top of the back, release through the shoulder blades, press the palms strongly into the floor. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round it up. Last one, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Inhale, come back to neutral spine. Option of taking your left knee into the center of the mat just a little bit. Try and keep your hips level. Drawing in through the lower belly for stability and pelvic floor lifted just gently. Then we're going to extend your right leg back, becoming no higher than hip height. Option to stay here. If this is a little too strong, drop the ball of that foot to the floor. And then maybe raising your left arm forward. Keep breathing. Keep that core just gently activated. Keep reaching through with the fingertips towards the front, pressing back with that heel towards the back. There's an element of balance to this pose as well. Take one more breath, reach a little further, and then gently release the left hand to the floor. Release your right leg. Taking the knees just a little bit wider. We're going to work through the hips now by just gently dropping the sit bones back towards the heels, and then inhale to come forward. Soften the elbows a little bit. Exhale, release back. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, release back. Last one, inhale forward. Exhale back. And then coming back to all fours. Legs hip width. Wrists under the shoulders. Maybe bring that right knee into the center just a little bit if you need. Draw in through your lower belly, pelvic floor lifted just gently, and then extend your left leg back. Heel pressing back, leg no higher than hip height. Option to stay here or drop the ball of the foot to the floor, or extend your right arm forward. Again, really reach forward, really press back with that leg so you're active right through your body. Continue with the breath. Some gentle core activation here. One more breath. And then release that right hand to the floor. Release the left leg to the floor. Again, take the knees a little wider. Exhale, sink the hips back to the heels. And then inhale, come forward. Option of doing just a little mini push-up. And then exhale, come back. If the push-up's not right for you, then just leave it out. If it feels okay, just dropping down just a little bit. Make sure you hug those elbows in. Move with your breath. Last one, exhale, release. Inhale, come forward. Any push-up optional. And then this time, take the knees nice and wide. Big toes to touch. Sink the hips back to the heels. I'm going to find our child's pose. So reach those hands forward and just rest the forehead to the floor. If you're a little further on in your pregnancy, you might like to bring the forearms underneath the head. You might even like to come up to the elbows and stay lifted. So it depends how much room you need for the belly. Also depends how this feels for the head. From this position, I really want you to focus your attention on your breath into the back of the body. So we tend to focus a little more on the tummy, on the front of the body, on the side. But now I want you to breathe into the lower back. So really feel that release, that opening of the back ribs, that lengthening of the spine. And then as you exhale, just let everything soften. Consequently, this can be a really lovely position in labour. You might even lift up a little higher, have your arms resting over a bolster, on the edge of a wall, on the edge of a fit ball. So if it feels good to come up a little higher, maybe even shuffle the hips from side to side, go for it. Taking just a few more breaths. Maybe rest it out for the last few. And then when you're ready, coming up onto all fours, legs back to hip width, and you're going to step your right leg forward, coming into a nice low lunge. Make sure your ankle's in line with your knee. Square the hips to the top of the mat. And rather than sinking too deeply into this, I want you to pull back a little bit and think about lengthening your tailbone. Then you'll get that gentle stretch down the front of your left leg, but not too deep sinking into the hips. We don't kind of want to hang out here. We want to feel like we're really strengthening our legs here. So your thighs should be really engaged. Shoulders back, hands can rest on the thigh. If you want to work a little bit more actively, then maybe extend the arms up. Keep breathing. Another option is to take the hands behind you, interlace the fingers, and get a nice opening through the front of the body. One more breath. And gently release. Bring the hands to the floor. Take your right foot just a little further out to the side. Again, just see how this feels with the hips. If you have any pelvic instability or pelvic girdle pain, I'd avoid doing this pose. It's just opening the hips up too much. But bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Sink a little into that left hip now. And then just allow a little bit of movement. So we're just easing around the hips, maybe taking in some small circles, forward and back. Just easing out any tension, just gently stretching the pelvic area. Always moving really mindfully in our prenatal practice. If anything doesn't feel right, then just pull back. Take one more breath here. And then pressing through the hands, let's take that foot back, coming back to all fours. We're now going to take the hands a little further forward. Legs are still hip width, tuck the toes and press back into our first downward dog. Just take a few moments in your downward dog, maybe walk the feet out, just by pedaling them one by one. Maybe shifting the hips from side to side, giving the bottom a little bit of a wiggle just to release any tension through the lower back, allow any movement through the body. If at any stage this feels uncomfortable, particularly if you get any heartburn or it feels too much pressure on the head, just drop the knees, keep them in line with the hips, take the hands forward and come into puppy pose. There's always a variation that you can work with. Just got to find what works for you. Take one more breath. And then bring the knees to the floor. We're going to step your left leg through. Coming into your low lunge on the opposite side. Pressing through the ball of that front foot, let's square the hips. Lengthen the tailbone. You should find that your stretch should be at about 70%. So if you find that you can sink right to your max, pull it back. Again, this is more about strengthening the legs than it is about finding that deep stretch. Hands can rest on the thigh, otherwise extend the arms. And again, another option, take the hands behind you. Get a nice chest opener, heart opener, breathe into that space. One more breath. Slowly release the hands. Bring the hands to the floor, Let's heel and toe that left foot out to the side just a little bit more. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. And again, just feel free to move around here as much as you like. So sinking into that hip, opening that knee out maybe circling the hip. Just moving with control. Try not to swing the body around so much. One more breath. And then press through the hands, slide that left leg back. Legs hip width. Hands to the top of your mat, spread the fingers, tuck the toes, press back, downward dog. You might even like to swivel the heels a little bit, get stretched through the side of the body. Come back to downward dog, find some stillness in your pose just for a few breaths. And then when you're ready, slowly walk your hands back, your feet forward, coming into a nice forward fold. So bring the legs at least hip width. You may even like to take them the width of the mat. Bend the knees nice and deeply and just let the top half of the body roll forward. If this doesn't feel comfortable, feel free to grab a bolster or a block to bring the hands on top of, or even bring the forearms above the knees and come up a little bit higher, maybe lifting the head. So again, this is just finding what works for you, what works for your body, and also what works for whatever stage of pregnancy you're at. Taking in a few more breaths wherever you are. Allowing that long release along the spine. And then when you're ready, bringing the hands to the thighs, we're going to inhale and slowly roll up. One vertebra at a time. Slowly peeling the spine up. Continue the arms up. And then bring the hands through to the heart center. Just taking a few moments just to let that settle in the body. From your standing position, bring your legs, they're about hip width apart. Turn your toes in just a little bit. So you want the outside edges of your feet parallel to the outside edges of your mat. Take a moment just to move your weight from your balls of your feet to your heels. Just feel that balance of the body on the mat. Center of gravity in the body. Shoulders are drawing back. A gentle lengthening of the lower back and drawing in of the lower belly. Not to the point where you're thrusting your pelvis forward and not to the point where you're tilting your pelvis back too much. So you want to find that balance somewhere in the middle. Shoulders are drawing back. We're going to inhale, take the arms up. Bring the palms to touch. And exhale, bring the hands through the heart center. Start to really connect with the breath. Inhale, reach the arms up. Nice and slow, exhale, take the hands through the heart center. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lower. This time, inhale, reach. And as you exhale, I want you to bring the weight into your heels, bend through your knees. Stick your bottom back a little bit, but keep your chest lifted so we're coming down into a squat. Your knees shouldn't track over your toes, so you should always be able to see your toes above your knees. Inhale, press through the heels to lift up, lengthen, and then exhale, hands through the heart center as you come down. Inhale, reach. Make sure your pelvic floor is lifted a little as you come down. Weight into the heels. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Nice and slow, move with the breath. Inhale, reach. Option to come up onto the balls of the feet. This time bring an element of balance into the pose. And then exhale, release the heels and come down into your squat. Inhale, extend. Lift. Exhale, release. And lower. Last one. Inhale, reach. Lift. Palms to touch. And then lower down into your squat. And we're going to hold here. So again, make sure the weight is back into the heels, but you've got a nice long tailbone. Shoulders are softening back. Draw in through your lower belly gently. Pelvic floor is lifted. Option to keep the hands at the heart center. Extend the arms forward. Continue to breathe. Another good option here is grab a block, bring it between the knees, and just gently squeeze the knees together. This is really great for stabilizing around the pelvis and the hips. Again, feel free to stay here. Otherwise, maybe start to come up onto the balls of the feet. Keep breathing. Take one more breath and then release. Removing the block. Take the feet a little further out. Turn the toes in. Hands behind you if that feels okay. Lift and lengthen, and then exhale, let's fold forward. Just releasing those arms over the head. Keep the knees bent. This is too much with the hands behind the back. Maybe bring the hands forward, or maybe bring the forearms above the knees. Keep breathing. Take one more breath. Bend the knees. Press through the heels and sweep the arms up, nice straight back. Bring the palms to touch, hands through the heart center. Just take a moment to let that settle. Then facing forward on your mat, we're going to take the legs out nice and wide, coming into our goddess pose. So now we're turning the heels in, toes out, and you want your knees tracking down the center of your feet, hands into the heart center. Pelvic floor is lifted a little bit here, lower belly's drawing in, and then we're going to press through the heels. Inhale, reach the arms up, palms to touch. Exhale, lower the hands down. Inhale, reach, lift, exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, exhale, release. Maybe take the next few a little slower. Really engaging through the legs. And then exhale, lowering down. Last one. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lower. This time we're going to hold our goddess pose. Shoulders back, hands to the heart center. Pelvic floor lifted, lower belly drawing in. Option to sway a little from side to side here if that feels okay. Then either stay here or extend the arms out, opening the palms wide, spread the fingers. And then we're going to wrap your right hand under your belly, lift the left and come over for a side stretch. In through the center, extend both arms, and then swap to the other side. Inhale back through the center. Exhale, swap. Inhale. Exhale. One more on each side. Bring back through the center, straighten the legs, and then give them a little shake from side to side. From here, turn your left heel out, turn your right toes down the center of the mat. You're going to bend through that knee now and open up into our warrior two. So make sure that right knee is in line with the ankle and tracking towards the little toe side of that foot. Press into the outside edge of that back foot. Engage your legs. Draw your tailbone long, shoulders down, reaching through, extending the arms. Gaze is just over your right fingertips. Take a moment to really feel that strength in this pose. Sink a little deeper if you can. Then we're going to drop our left hand to the back thigh. Flip the right, reach forward, up, and then gently come over, reaching up towards the sky. Make sure that left hand is nice and light so it's not pressing down into the back leg. Inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, flip in reverse. Inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, flip in reverse. Inhale, back to warrior two, and then this time we're going to reach forward, bring that forearm to the knee, take your left arm up towards the sky. Draw that left shoulder back. From here, press through the feet, inhale back to warrior two. Exhale, flip and reverse. Inhale through the center. Exhale, come to your side angle. Inhale through the center. Flip to reverse. Inhale through the center and find your side angle. Inhale back to warrior two. Let's straighten that front leg now. And we're going to flip the right palm, drop your left hand, reach and reverse your triangle. Reach up towards the sky. Make sure you're not sinking back into that hip. So you want to stay nice and lifted. Inhale back through the center. This time reaching forward. Bring that hand to the shin. Take your left arm up towards the sky. Make sure that left shoulder is drawing back, that left hip is drawing back. Breathe. Inhale back through the center. Flip and reverse your triangle. Inhale through the center. Reach. Find your triangle. Inhale through the center. Exhale, reverse. Inhale through the center. Exhale, triangle. Inhale back through the center. Let's bring the palms to touch. Swivel on the feet, so turning your right foot now, outside edge parallel to the back of the mat. Turn your left toes and open out, warrior two. Take a moment just to set up your pose here. Shoulders drawing down, reaching through fingertips to fingertips. That left knee bent and drawing back towards the little toe side of the foot. Find your breath. And then drop your right hand to the back thigh, flip your left. Lifting and reverse. Inhale, back to warrior two. Move with your breath. Flip, lift and reverse. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, warrior two. This time, exhale, reach forward, bring that forearm to the knee, the right arm up, draw that shoulder back, reach through the fingertips, find side angle on the other side. Moving with the breath now, let's inhale back to warrior two. Exhale, reverse. Inhale through the center, reach forward, find your side angle. Inhale through the center, exhale, reverse. Inhale, exhale. Last one, inhale back through warrior two, flip and reverse. And then back through the center, side angle. Inhale back through the center, straighten that front leg. This time dropping your right palm, flip your left and reverse your triangle pose. Keep lifted in through the lower belly, don't crunch back into the right hip. Inhale, come back through the center. This time reaching forward, bring that left hand to the shin, right arm up towards the sky. Keep drawing that right shoulder and hip back. Inhale, come back through the center. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, through the center, take your time. Exhale, triangle. Inhale, center, exhale, flip and reverse. Inhale, exhale. Inhale back through the center. Taking both legs, facing the feet towards the front. Take your hands behind you. Bring the palms to the lower back, or you can even bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers. Whatever feels most comfortable for you. Inhale, lift the chin. Exhale, gently fold forward. Bring the hands to the floor. Inhale, look forward and lengthen. And then exhale, fold. If you have the hands in front, just bring them beneath the face. Bend the elbows towards the back of the body. Shift the weight forward into the balls of the feet and see if you can relax any tension from the head and the neck. If you have your hands behind you, interlace the fingers, draw the shoulder blades back and just let the arms come up over the head. Just holding here for 3 long breaths. Of course, at any stage that you need to come out, please come out. You're going to take your time. On your next inhale, release the arms or walk them forward. Coming up halfway, hands to the waist, stay for the exhale. And then inhale, come up to standing. We're going to heel and toe the feet in. We want the heels now turning in, the toes turning out. I'm going to come down into our yogi squat. So just find a distance that works for you. See if you can sink back into it just a little bit. Bring the hands into the heart center. If you need a little bit more support, grab a block or a bolster and maybe bring it under the sit bones and actually sit back onto the block. So feel free to stay here and just connect with the breath. If you want to work a little bit more strengthening the legs, then draw in through your lower belly and pelvic floor lifted, and then we're going to press through the heels, come up, come to standing, reach the arms up. Exhale, come down into your squat. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lowering down. Last one, inhale, reach, nice and slow. And then exhale to lower. Coming back to Malasana, your yogic squat. Just take a moment just to connect back with the breath. Maybe close the eyes. Take one more breath. Removing the block. Sit back. Bring the soles of the feet together. From your butterfly position, let's bring the hands to the ankles. Draw the shoulders back and inhale to lift and lengthen through the spine. Let the hips soften, let the knees just drop down. Take one more breath to inhale and lengthen, and then as you exhale, just start to hinge from the hips forward. Maybe even just bring the elbows to rest on the insides of the legs. Try and keep the chest lifted and the spine long, rather than rounding through the spine at this point. Connect with the breath. Every inhale to lift you longer, every exhale to soften you further forward. You might even like to close the eyes here and just really take that focus inward. This is less about pulling ourselves into the pose and more about just softening. A lot of labor is about letting go, about releasing, about allowing the pelvis to relax and do what it needs to do. The more you force, the more the body tenses. So the more you can get into that habit of just releasing and letting the body go, the easier it will be when it comes to that point to know what to do or to allow the body what it needs to do. Every inhale, again, think about lengthening. Every exhale, think about softening. Inhale, come out just a little bit. Take the legs a little further away from you. Hands to the ankles or the shins again. Inhale, lift and lengthen, open through the front of the body. This time, just allow a rounding and a softening forwards. Obviously only going as far as the body will allow, but allow the head to drop down just to let that release right along the spine. In this position, you might even like to reach the right hand just over the left toes. Take the left hand out to the side just to press down to the floor and get a little bit of an opening through the left. Release that, swapping the arms. Get a bit of an opening through the right. And come back through the center. We're going to extend that now. So coming up nice and slow, extend your right leg out to the side and bring your left sole of the foot into the inner thigh. Inhale to lift and lengthen here. And then as you exhale, gently walk the hands forward. So again, we really want to concentrate on keeping that chest lifted and the spine long. Connecting with the breath. Inhale, coming up halfway. Take your right hand to the inside of the leg, or if you can reach without forcing yourself down too much, take a hold of the inside of the foot. Left hand comes to the waist, and we're going to start to draw that shoulder out. So feel that stretch now coming to the left side of the body and to the inside underneath the right leg. Maybe stay here, this might be enough. You might even like to reach that left arm up overhead. Once again, breathe. Imagine there's a hand pressing onto your left side. Try and press the hand away with the breath, so really opening up through the side of the body. One more breath. And then slowly release. Let's bring that left hand down behind the body. Take your right arm up over for a counter stretch. Maybe come gently onto the left knee. Lift the hips and really extend down the body if that feels okay. And then slowly release. Swapping over to the other side, let's extend the left leg. Take your right sole of the foot into the inner thigh. Hands in front. Inhale, lift, lengthen, and then exhale, fold forward. Again, remember it's about lengthening forward rather than trying to force yourself down towards the floor. Besides the fact that at a point, you won't be able to get much closer because of the belly. Try to broaden across the collarbones. Try to connect with the breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, so you can go a little bit deeper. Inhale, coming up halfway, just to reach your left hand to the inside of the leg, maybe taking a hold of the foot. Draw those toes back. Right hand to the waist, use that to open out that hip, draw that shoulder back. Maybe reach that right arm up overhead if that feels okay. If it's too intense, just bring that right arm down. Of course, really use the breath. One more breath. Open up a little bit further and then slowly release that right arm down. Bring the hand behind you. Take the left hand up overhead. Maybe lift up onto the knee. Lift the hips and full extension. Enjoy that stretch. And gently release. I'm going to tuck both feet under you now. Turn side onto your mat and come into a kneeling position. Taking the hands behind you, fingertips facing towards the front of the mat. Just gently draw the shoulders back, open up through the chest, just puff the chest out a little bit. Just breathe into that space. Either keeping the chin tucked in if it feels okay, maybe drop the head back. Breathe. Slowly draw the chin back in and relax. So you can stay with that first version, just really opening up through the front of the body. Or for this next one, pressing through, really engaging through your thighs, and we're actually going to lift the hips up, coming into a mini bridge. Again, either chin tucking in, or you can gently drop the head back if that feels okay for the neck. I'm going to hold here for 3. Breathing 2. 1, and slowly release the hips. Walk the hands forward, rest the backs of the hands on the thighs, close the eyes and connect with the breath. Walking the hands back, coming in for a second round, fingertips facing forward, draw the shoulders back. Option to stay with that first variation. Otherwise, again, let's engage through the thighs, lift the hips. Chin tucked in, head dropped back just for a moment. And again, let's hold for 3, 2, 1. Slowly release. Walking the hands forward, rest it out, palms down or up, shoulders back, and breathe. Opening the eyes, I'm going to swing the legs around now, coming onto one hip. Bring your left leg in front, sole of the foot coming to the floor. Bring your right ankle just above that knee. Flexing the toes back, and then bring your hands behind you. So what we're aiming for is to stretch into your right glute, buttock. If you don't feel that very much, draw that left foot in a little further. And again, press through the hands. Just breathe, drawing that right knee down towards the floor just a little bit. One more breath. And then gently release that ankle. Bring both soles of the feet to the floor and window wipe the legs from side to side. Coming over to the other side, right sole of the foot to the floor, left ankle, bring it just above that right knee, flex the toes back, and then place the hands behind you, whichever way feels most comfortable. Shoulders drawing back, draw that left knee towards the floor. Come back to your breath, nice deep into the belly, lengthen out the exhale. And then when you're ready, slowly release that ankle, soles of the feet to the floor, and window wipe the legs. This also helps to really release through the lower back. This is a nice little motion for the legs. And we're going to come down onto the floor. If at any stage you feel uncomfortable lying on your back, please roll to your side and come back to the breath. We're not going to be here for too long though. So just rolling down to the floor. Just resting your head back onto the floor. Legs are about hip width apart. Nice distance between the hips and the heels. Fingertips might just brush the heels. Hands can rest either down by your sides, or you can rest the hands on the belly. We're going to start with just some gentle pelvic tilts. So as you inhale, just press the sacrum into the floor. So you're actually creating a little arch into the lower back as the pelvis tilts back. Then as you exhale, press the lower back into the floor gently, tilting the pelvis in the opposite direction. Inhale, soften the belly, breathe in, tilt the pelvis. Exhale, rock the pelvis back as you press the lower back in. Inhale, create that little arch. Exhale, press the lower back in. So you can either stay with this version, just tilting the pelvis forward and back, and on your exhale, be sure to lift the pelvic floor gently. Otherwise, on your next inhale, press the sacrum into the floor, create that little arch, and then as you exhale, press the lower back into the floor first, and then lift the hips, rolling up towards the sky. Inhale when you reach the top, and then exhale, roll down one vertebra at a time, really taking your time. Inhale, rock the pelvis at the bottom. Exhale, lower back presses in first, and then lift the hips up. Really engage through the legs, use that strength. Inhale at the top. And exhale, roll down. So you're creating like a wave-like motion with the body and the spine. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, tilt pelvis and lift. Inhale and exhale, roll down. Again, just holding here, we're going to window wipe the legs from side to side. If you need to rest and roll onto your side for a moment, feel free to pause here. Back with the breath. Feels okay on your back for a few more moments. Bring the knees back to center, draw them in towards the chest, but take them nice and wide. One hand to each shin, and just rock a little from side to side. Just creating some circles with the knees, massaging into the lower back. You can come back to the center and stay here with the knees nice and wide, just gently opening up through the hips. Or you can work into the full happy baby by flexing the feet up towards the sky, keeping the knees bent. Hands can either reach through to the insides of the feet, maybe pistol grip the big toes. They can even just hold on to the backs of the knees. So again, you're working towards softening and opening through the hips. At the same time, draw the tailbone down towards the floor. Once you're here, see if you can let go and really relax into it. So don't force, don't pull, just soften. Just breathing nice and gently. Feel free to stay here as long as you like or as long as feels comfortable. When you're ready to release, just soften, release the knees, and then you just roll onto your left side and just take a few moments to let the body settle. For your restorative sequence, you have a number of options. This is coming into your Shavasana or your relaxation at the end of your practice. So if you'd like to lie on your side, then grab a hold of a bolster and bring it in front, using that to rest your top leg, lying on your left side. You can either bring a cushion, another bolster, or just have your arm to rest for your head. Extend your left arm, bring your right knee to rest onto the bolster, and then relax down. So this might be a great opportunity to switch on a meditation, listen to a yoga nidra, or just relax into the floor as long as you can. Just coming back to the breath. And then just let it go. Just let it soften. Another option is to bring a block or another bolster to the top of your mat and then bring the bolster to rest onto the block. So you're creating an elevated bolster here. You can then sit into the bolster, so bringing your lower back into the bolster. You can have your soles of the feet together, you can bring the soles of the feet to the floor, or you can have the legs extended, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And then we're just gently rolling back onto that bolster. Relax the shoulders, the head, and just let the arms come to rest out either side of the body. This is a nice, beautiful way to ease into your relaxation. You're not lying on the floor, so you shouldn't feel too uncomfortable here. If you do, maybe elevate a little further. You might require more cushion so that you're lifted a little higher. Close the eyes, and once again, come back to the breath. Another option with this formation of the bolster, but if you find that the opening butterfly position of the legs is too much for the hips, if you have any pelvic girdle pain, then actually come over into a kneeling position. So you're almost sitting in between the feet or onto the heels. Move as far back towards the bolster as you can. And then from this position, you're rolling back onto the bolster. So your legs are now hip width apart and supported. The bolster's supporting into your lower back. You're elevated, and you can elevate a little bit more if this feels a little too close to the floor. Relax the head back, shoulders drawing back, and again, just rest the arms down either side of the body. Close the eyes, connect back with the breath, and just let it go.